Hi, Nora. Thank you so much for your work this week. Um, in particular, I wanted to let you know that I really, really connected with your mundane and extraordinary poem. I thought that the details you included in trying to tell this story, the way that you named the person who was attacked versus the shooter was an important detail that I really liked. And I also think that, I think giving the human details to the shooter as well as the victims of the shooting were just really important and really well done throughout your poem. So nice work. Kudos on tackling such a difficult topic. So, yes, in response to your question about the naming, I do absolutely think um, that you should name the victim. And I also thought that there were enough details about who the shooter was, that he was a white Caucasian male. It came across to me that he was someone with a lot of hate in his heart. I don't know specifically that I would have been able to label him a neo-Nazi, but I do think that looking down at a tattooed swastika would be too much. I do think that that detail would be just kind of not trusting your reader and not trusting your reader to piece together this profile um, that you're very clearly crafting of this shooter. So I don't think it's necessary. On to your second poem. Yes, it was a little bit of whiplash, as you described in your notes, but that's totally fine. We get to write poems that are filled with tragedy and then filled with humor on the same day or the same week. It's totally okay. It wasn't too bad. So I do think that you go into enough detail describing the ingredients, but I do think that like the onions, the snap peas, and the lemongrass all have these very distinct personalities, and I kind of want just a couple more details so that the rest of the vegetables have the same roundness to their personalities. I want to know a little bit more about them. And I love that the food got a little philosophical at the end. I don't think that was too much. I think this writing prompt is to remind us, the whole point of it is to remind us to play, right? To not take ourselves too seriously, to play, to laugh. Um, and I think that that's exactly what happens at the end of this poem is, rather than the expected here would be for the vegetables to be feeling grief and tragedy at the end of their lives. But instead, I think it's a really interesting turn of events that they get philosophical about where they're going and what their next step is in their existence. So I was really into it. So anyway, Nora, thank you so much once again for these poems this week. Very well done, and I look forward to seeing where you go with them.